and welcome to the Passenger Seat Podcast, a podcast designed to fill your passenger seat with chat about classic cars, all recorded from my 1968 Morris Minor Peggy. I am Becca and today is the last podcast of 2025, so we're going to be looking back on everything that we got up to, some of my highlights, and next podcast we'll be looking forward to 2026. So, might seem a little bit early for the last podcast of the year, but next Thursday, our usual release day, is obviously Christmas Day, and so it seems a little bit pointless to release a podcast about driving and things like that on a day when a lot of people will be very busy and probably not driving. And also, by pushing the podcast a little week later, we end up in the quite fortunate position of, for this year, actually being able to just about include the restoration show in this year's season. So we'll have gone all the way through from the NEC back in November to the restoration show all the way through to March. So a nice little fitting way to end up season 10 of the podcast. So 2025 has been quite a year. It's obviously my first full year to enjoy Peggy in all of her glorious post-restoration shininess and brilliance. And I've tried to do that to the absolute maximum. We've had very minimal, touch wood, mechanical issues, and it's been a case of enjoying and maintaining her, which I've been incredibly fortunate about. We've had some really fantastic big adventures. We had our big trip to Ireland, which was a huge highlight of the year, and I can't thank the young members, and in particular Dara, enough for all the hard work that went into that, and just being a fantastic bunch of people to go and enjoy such an amazing trip with. We had our big 2-car trip over to North Wales, where we were touring around and having lots of fun, and that was obviously tied in with the Women Drivers Social Club event over there. We've had some fantastic events with the Women Drivers Social Club this year, with the winter warmer last year, International Women's Day, 3 camping weekends, because we had the Bedford show this year, and it was amazing to get Peggy to the Bedford show for the first time. So, and then the NEC Classic Motor Show with the Women Drivers Social Club to round out their events, and it was of course Peggy's first time not being at the NEC Classic Motor Show, but regardless, I'm so grateful that she's given me the opportunities, such as going to that show, that I wouldn't have had otherwise if I hadn't got her. And that is the thing, the big thing about this year was really celebrating 5 years of having Peggy and all of the things that she's brought along, all the friendships, all the adventures, all the experiences, doing a bit of a celebration of everything that has been. We've also had a pretty good year trying out a few new things. We've been to a few new shows that we'd not been to previously. We've started doing talks and visits and a little bit of mechanical training sessions with various groups, and that's something that I've really enjoyed. My business side of things has started to pick up a little bit more, going into its second year, and again that's something that I wouldn't have had without Peggy. I think if I had to pick one really amazing thing this year, it would be the Ireland trip, because we covered so many miles. It was such a feat, such an adventure, and such a really special trip, and we had such a fantastic time. I think the North Wales trip was obviously really cool as well, and lots of exploring and things done with that. I really enjoyed taking the scimitar on a few longer trips this year. Totally unexpected how good that car has been and how brilliant it's really added to our fleet and made things different, a lot more enjoyable, and it's been really cool how well received it's been by everyone who has seen it and enjoys it. We obviously took it on that North Wales trip, but we also took it up to Durham for the Singer Owners Club weekend and had a lot of fun in it there, and it obviously won Best Non-Singer in Show, which was really fun. And yeah, it's been a great addition to our fleet. Another big motoring-ish highlight is obviously the house move, the feat of moving all of the vehicles, but also finding a house that not only suits us and has given us a lot more for what we want to do and live like, but also has given us a lot more outdoor usable space for the cars, a lot more storage space for the cars. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I've felt much more comfortable filming little bits and bobs whilst out there working on the car, because we've got that enclosed private space to be able to do that. And I'm hoping you've been enjoying like the little short reels and the clips that I've been able to include when talking about bits and bobs that have been done on the cars, and it's definitely a huge bonus that we're really enjoying. The NEC Classic Motor Show did feel like a really good feat this year. It was incredibly positive. We got a lot from it as a club for the Women Drivers Social Club, and I personally got a lot from it in terms of meeting a lot of really fantastic people and speaking to some really brilliant people. And I hope you all enjoyed the podcast with Bobby and Adam that was recorded there. We've covered quite a lot of miles and had a lot of adventures. It's been an interesting kind of transition year for that sort of thing, because we've had so much going on in terms of the house move and stuff, that we did a lot of top-loaded, front-loaded adventures, and then the mileage has kind of tailed off a little bit towards the end of the year because I don't have to travel so far for work, and I don't need to do every journey out in a car. I can walk to places and stuff like that that we couldn't do in our previous location. And so it's been even more of a treat when I've been able to get behind the wheel of Peggy and actually enjoy her, and it's made it much more exciting when I have been able to. But it's also given me the flexibility to be able to do work and little bits and pieces on her without knowing that I'm 100% reliant on her to be able to get out the next morning. 2025 has been also pretty good for meeting some of you guys. There's been brilliant events like Rustival that have brought us together and has given us the opportunity to talk and get to know people in person as well. And obviously tickets for that have gone on sale very recently at the time that this podcast goes out. And I hope you all have a fantastic time. It doesn't look like I can make it next year, which is absolutely gutting, but it's been a fantastic addition to the calendar in the years that we have had it, and just a brilliant way to actually meet up and chat with people and catch up with people. We've also had some really fantastic interviews on the podcast. Obviously I mentioned Bobby and Adam's one, but there's also ones like the brilliant Ashley Crossland that we interviewed at Singer National Weekend about the history of the Roadsters. And if you're interested in the history of Singer and stuff like that, then that is not an episode to be missed at all. And some other fantastic interviews that I've been able to carry out at shows. And I'm so grateful to the podcast for giving me the access to and the excuse to invite people into the car and give us a little bit of a chat about their experiences and capture those stories of motoring from lots of different people, and I'm really glad that the podcast continues to offer that space to a wide range of people about what motoring and classic cars and things like that mean to them. It's been so good to use the podcast to both capture my experiences but also other people's, and kind of build this collection of ongoing stories. I've hopefully got some more interesting ones scheduled up for 2026, and I'm really looking forward to talking to some of the people about their experiences as well, and how that's in some cases led to some interesting ideas and developments of new technologies and stuff like that. We've also discovered some really cool new places to go and visit in 2025. We are now big fans of Brightside, the roadside diners, and probably going to be making a lot more use of those going into 2026. Also visited the Cotswold Motor Museum for the first time in probably, well, at least in my memory. I know I've probably been there before when I was very young, but to go along there now and actually properly take it in was a fantastic experience. We really enjoyed our trip to Great Yarmouth and Joyland Diner as well, and they have regular car meets that I'm sure if I was a little bit closer we'd be making much more use out of, because to be able to get your car on such a forefront part of the seafront is every car enthusiast's dream if you're like kind of retro seasides and stuff like that. And having now been for the whole weekend to the Bedford Steam Show, that's definitely going to be on the calendar for next year to go and enjoy and perhaps become a bit more of a regular feature. Just that opportunity to enjoy your car around the public and also be in those fantastic traffic jams with such unique and unusual vehicles is really cool. And I might actually try and go and see the Shuttleworth collection fully in the daylight next year if I can make the time for it, but it is such a big and fantastic show. I can see why it's sometimes tricky to get up there and enjoy that as well. This year's also been really fun with getting my Christmas lights in. In the past I've done whole separate podcasts about the Christmas lights that I've been and seen. I don't think that's necessary this year, but it is such fun to get your classic out and take it round, getting some festive photos and have it dressed up a little bit for Christmas and ready to enjoy the season. And even just now, before I started recording, I was driving through a little village and they asked me to stop. Well, some people came up to me and asked me to stop because there was a group of school kids about to walk from their school up to the church to do some Christmas caroling, and they all were talking about how much they loved the car and saying hello and how festive it looked. And I love having the car out at Christmas, and having made such an effort this year to go out even if I wouldn't normally be going out has been great, and just a really special festive treat. And I'm looking forward to doing a bit of the driving over the Christmas period as well. We've not officially decided which car of ours is going to be the Christmas Day car this year, but I'm sure that conversation will be quite heated. Jaffa had the go last year. Maybe it's back to being Peggy this year when we try and keep it even, backwards and forwards like that, but we'll see. And of course I've had some fun, if you've seen on social media, making some Morris Minor Christmas gingerbread cookies as well. So there's definitely lots of festive fun to be had at this time of year with your classic car. But yes, 2025, a really good year for us. Nothing overly crazy, but some real nice highlights, some really lovely memories, and more importantly, nothing terrible, touch wood, that means that we've had to stop enjoying ourselves, which has been great. I'd like to take a little bit of a moment to thank you guys all so much for carrying on, listening to me rambling on about whatever it is to do with Peggy and our adventures, or coming along and listening with me to the stories of people who we invite into the car, or I get myself invited into their cars. I didn't necessarily start this as something to have other people. I wasn't looking for lots of numbers and stuff like that with the podcast, but it is always really nice when you share your thoughts and stuff like that, and get involved and listen along, because it does add a little bit of something extra to something. It was always intended as more of a bit of a archive for myself, but it's so nice that sometimes it fulfills other people getting a contact with a bit of something that they're interested in as well. But that's it for 2025. I'd love to hear your suggestions in the comments and stuff of things that we should be doing in 2026 with Peggy and with Jaffa, the Reliant Scimitar, and that way we can reflect on those and look into them for our January 1st New Year's Day podcast episode. But in the meantime, thank you ever so much for listening to every episode that you have. Drive safely and happy motoring.